At this point, an adjoined high school and
Yeah.
an adjoined campus?
An adjoined high school, Form 2.
Form 2,
Because she had done only Form 1 before the parents disagreed. So she joins Form 2. And now I have moved now to my home and I live them. She joined first a boarding school, but it became so expensive. So we now changed her to a day school, where she go in the morning and come back in the evening. So she started living with us, but now I have moved. I left them. When I went to home, I started farming carrots, onions, cabbages, and potatoes. I could send them some of my farm produce to come and...
What you enjoy.
Yeah. We are helping. So in the process, I got pregnant with my son now. And I will be coming for maternal clinics. What are they called? Postnatal?
Clinics,
Those things. I would come maybe after a month. Those days we could only go for 1 month once. So I could come once a month to be checked on. And I come with my daughter now, and I am pregnant. So in that season, I start hearing rumors. We had a church at where we used to live in Nanyuki town. So I started hearing rumors that this pastor has 2 wives, and I could wonder what are they saying. Because I had, although we were not so much in love, I still loved him, and I trusted him so much, such that I could not imagine that he could take any girl or even another wife. But now I start hearing rumors, because he could escort her to school holding hands and all that.
Wow.
So people are saying. So they start spreading rumors, and I could hear them, and I disagree. I denied, because I really trusted my husband. So there came a time that he told me himself that he's planning to marry the girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
At this time, are you still staying in the village?
Yeah, I'm still in the village. I'm only coming for postnatal clinics and go back. So he tells me he's planning to marry her. I think when he took her to school, he decided to take her to school, he thought he would educate her and marry her, but he did not tell anyone.
Okay.
For him, he took her as a helping, but he knew what he was doing. And he never told me or anyone for that matter.
Yeah.
So by the time she's from Form 2 to Form 3, she's already his wife.
Wow.
They are sleeping together. They are going anywhere they want, and they don't care. Even the church closed down. The bishop who we used to preach under closed it down because of the rumors, and now tarnishing the name of the ministry.
The church, yeah.
So they stopped caring what people are saying, and he came out clear that he's planning to marry her. So by the time she's completing high school, she's already his wife. I tried to cancel everything. I tried to fight for my marriage, but it did not work. I could burn books and uniform and all that, try to throw her out of the house, but if I do, the following morning, he will go for her, buy new books and everything she needs, and then he's so sarcastic, asking me, is it your money that I am using? You see, now I am only a girl, still very young. I think I was 18, 19 there. So he asked me, is it your money? What is your problem? I have told you I want to marry her, so what's your problem? This girl is not an issue in our marriage. You know we are not, it's not working between us. But I am not throwing you out. You are still my wife, but I have to marry her, you see. That was his reasoning. So at that point, I was pregnant, now close to delivery. I did not have that much energy to continue fighting. And I am just there crying with so much pain and looking and seeing my life is now ruined. I don't know what to do. My mother is nowhere to be found by that time. When I got married, she backslid. went back to alcohol and selling it. And
so she left going to church.
yeah, she stopped even being a prophet, prophesying. She left everything, went back to alcohol. She went back to even being worse than she was before. So I could hear rumors, your mother is drunk somewhere with someone's husband. And you know now my image, even where I'm married, even with my in-laws, is tarnished. Everybody is looking me and defining me with what my mother is doing. And I am a very useless person to everyone. I'm mistreated by, especially my husband. My in-laws were good to me, especially my father-in-law, the sisters and the brother. The only person I am not sure is my mother-in-law, because she sided with the son. And the reason she gave her, she decided to now side with the son.
Okay.
But in the early stages of my marriage, she was very kind to me. Actually, she's the one who taught me how to bring up a baby, wash a baby, feed a baby, because I got my daughter when I was 17, only 17 years. So I did not know anything about even tying a nappy. I did not know anything. So she's the one who took care, literally took care of my daughter and showed me everything. Even the farm work and everything else. Okay. She was kind to me. And I loved her so much. I was very open with her, told her everything. Even when his son started wanting to marry another woman, I went to her when I was pregnant with my son, and I stayed with her, I think, for 3 weeks. We tried to figure out what we can do, but I think his son told her things, and she decided I am no longer good for his son, for her son. I am not sure, because she's now late.
Okay.
But I only remember the good moments. I only remember the good times with her. I do not want to concentrate so much on what happened later on. So he marries the girl. They start living together, and now myself, I agreed and went back home, and I am not concerned of what they are doing. I continued raising my kids, farming.
At that point, was she supporting the kid? Was he supporting the kids?
He could come once in a while, but you see now at home you have everything.
Oh, okay.
I had a cow, I could milk, I could sell milk, I could, farm produce was always there.
Okay.
Although he could come, sell everything I have farmed, every produce from the shamba, and comes to spend the money with the guy. But you see now it's his home. He can do anything he wants. And I was just there. Me, I thought, if my children are okay and we are not sleeping hungry, let him do whatever he wants.
Okay.
Because I had no one to talk to. My mother is nowhere to be found. I had literally no one.
Okay.
So I decided, let me be mistreated. Maybe it's my fate. But I could really pray about my marriage, pray for him, still hoping for things to get well, to get better, which did not happen. It went from bad to worse. So at some point, after she finished high school, she leaves him and gets another relationship with an army officer. In Nanyuki, there is so many army officers. So she gets into a relationship with one of them and leaves my husband because the job was now over. He had no money. He was depending now on the farm produce that I was farming. So when she left, my husband comes home with nothing. He finds me, and we continue living and farming and all that.
Did he apologize?
Somehow,
Okay.
but he was never remorseful of anything he did. He never cared, actually. Yeah, so he came. We continued living and farming, and then there is a ministry that used to hold a school of ministry in Nanyuki for 1 week every April. It used to come annually. So he goes for this seminar, and after it's over, he comes home, tells me that the Lord has called him again. He wants to go back to ministry and all that. And now he told me he has repented. The bishop who had given us a church wants to give him another chance, and now the church is reopened. So he tells me we go. I leave home, we go so that I can support him.
Yeah.
And everything, my cow. I used to farm with these sprinkle things that you irrigate with in the shamba. So we sold that share.
Wow.
So the only remaining thing is the pipes in the shamba, but the water is disconnected. Yeah, so I left that home like I will never go back. So we went back, started a church. My farm produce, I opened a small shop. And we continued now with church life and my business. In the process, one member in the church tells my husband that she can show him how to work, how to go to Kampala, purchase materials, shoes, everything in which he can sell. And she also showed us how to borrow money from this, like Kenya Women.
Circles.
So, yeah, circles. So I joined Kenya Women. We borrowed 20,000 at first. I give him to go now to Kampala and start the business. And the business does very well. Now, in the process of the business, because he could purchase things, start selling in wholesale from Nakuru, Nyahururu, goes to Karatina, Embu, Meru, and then now comes back to Nanyuki. Then he starts again the following week. He could go weekly.
Okay.
So in the process of selling, in Nyahururu, the girl was from Nyahururu. She had left the relationship that caused their separation. And she's now trying these courses that you do after high school. Now she's in a certain shop somewhere doing computer courses, and they meet.
Wow.
Now my husband is now very rich because the business did very well. He's rich and everything. He's even very smart now.
Yeah.
So they meet and decided to continue the relationship again without telling anyone. Remember now, we are doing this business on loan. We have paid already now the 20,000 is over now. We have paid it in full, and I apply for 30,000 now. And those days, 30,000 is like 100K now. So it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now I have borrowed 30,000. I have given him. I still have no clue that they met. So this 30,000 is the one he will take and rent an apartment for the girl, furnish it, and they start living together, and they will tell no one. You see. So
at this time, is he still a pastor?
Yeah, still a pastor.
Okay.
Because he's preaching part-time and doing business part-time. The church was there. I think we had like 30 members. Yeah, so... And it was doing well. The business was doing well. We even moved our children from public school to private schools, you see.
Yeah.
So that tells you the business did really well. So now the 30,000, I am now to start paying. You're given a grace period of 1 month. Now before that grace period is over, he comes and tells me, because I could wonder what is happening. This time round, you coming late. You're not coming the time you used to come. Because he could go maybe on Monday and comes back on Wednesday or Friday. This time he's even 2 weeks late. I start asking questions. What is happening? And when he could come either with the money, because I have sold everything, and the remainders I could put on my shop to be selling before he comes with some more. So this time he comes empty-handed, no money, no nothing. So I start asking, what is happening? He would tell me there is still money in debts, still not paid, and all those reasons
Yeah.
that are very lame. When someone is lying, you will still know. You just know. So he one day decides to tell me the truth. And he tells me, we met again with the girl,
Wow.
and we reconciled and started again.
And sorry to cut you short. Was he paying the loan?
He was paying the loan. He's the one who had paid the first 20,000.
Now, what about the 30,000?
Now the 30,000, this grace period of 1 month that you're giving is where things got very bad.
Yeah.
He tells me they got back again, and they started the relationship again. Now it is approaching, the grace period is now approaching to the end. Now for me to start paying back.
Yes.
So when he tells me they are back together, I felt like my world has come to a standstill. I felt so betrayed. The first time it was okay, I was okay with it. I was okay with it, and I went to my home and continued with life. But this time round, I felt so betrayed because I have worked so hard. I have supported this man in the church and in everything, and he decides to betray me like this. So I felt so betrayed. And I took my children. By this time, my mom is now back. She's gotten a husband, a Mokorino husband. Now not the ones that releases the turban at the back. She got married to the ones that now tie it very well. So they started living together. They were living in Moya. So I figured, let me go to my mother, still knowing the type of person she is, but she's still my mother. So I took my children, now 3 children. I already have my third born. This period they separated, we kind of had a collab that was very lukewarm, and I got pregnant now with my daughter. So I have now 3 children. Things are totally bad. This man has really betrayed me. And I take my children to my mom's. He never cared. He stayed without coming for 3 months. I stayed with my mother for 3 months. And my mother, we had never been in good terms with her. So there was no peace even there. You remember, I was very confused and frustrated. And the mother I am going to is also a very hostile person to me. Yeah. Someone who rejects me and sees only the bad side of me. So there was no peace there. So after 3 months, I decided to take my children back to, I figured to go to my mother-in-law, leave the children with her, and I go my way. But now, because these people who had lended us money wanted their money, when they went to him, he did not take them to the place where they are living with the girl. He takes them to my house, and they took everything, literally everything.
Auctioning.
Yeah, they auctioned my house, kabisa. So I did not have anywhere to go back. So I decided, let me go to mother-in-law, leave the kids with her, and go. When I reached at Nyeri town, my money was over.
So from where to Nyeri now?
Yeah, from where to Nyeri, my money is over. I don't know what to do. And you see now the children are like this, and they are hungry along the road. So I figured, let me go to, there is one of his uncles who was living around Nyeri. So I decided, let me go to Nyeri, to his uncle, leave the kids there. He will call my mother-in-law to take the kids, or they will know what to do with the kids. I was that angry, and I was confused. I was crying. Even at Nyeri town, my children are crying, and I am also crying because I am so frustrated. And I go to his uncle. He calls him, and he says he's determined to marry the girl.
Wow.
Nothing or no one will prevent him from that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to go, wherever I want to go, it's upon me. But his decision is to marry, to have 2 wives.
Uh-huh.
So I felt like I don't want that. But his aunties, there was an event that had happened the previous day. The daughter to this uncle was, they had come to pay dowry for her.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, like the whole family, was still there by the time I arrived.
Okay.
They even thought I was coming for that event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when they saw the situation, I have lots of bags and my children, and I am alone. The husband is not with us. They realize all is not well. So the uncle welcomes me, calls the man, and we sat down. He said he's marrying that girl, no matter what. And whatever decision I make, it's upon me. So the aunties and my uncle, that uncle of his, they really convinced me to go back to where now my home, where I had left.
In the village.
Yes. But I could figure, I don't now have the cow that I used to milk. My shamba has no water again. So where will I begin? How will life be like now with 3 children? But I still went. They convinced me. I went and continued. Now, with that tough situation, without anything, without no one, all alone with my small children, I could cry, cry a lot, hurt a lot, but a still prayerful woman. I could pray. I could go in the shamba, in the middle of maize, when they are growing up. It's like a forest. I am inside there with my baby breastfeeding. I could sit or lie down, lay my baby there next to me, and I would pray for hours. Praying for my marriage, praying for my life, because I could see only darkness. I could not see any light around me. So I could pray, but nothing worked. I also got ulcers. I was so depressed. I had a spinal cord problem, maybe because of giving birth at a young age. I don't know where that problem had come from. So, and I also was diagnosed with asthma at the same time. Remember, I have three kids who are very young, and I am diagnosed with asthma. The husband is gone with another girl, and I have no one to help me or to share with. I could breastfeed my daughter, tears would flow, and my daughter would take milk together with my tears because it is flowing without me knowing. So I lived like that. But I felt this time I will not continue living here because if I continue beyond now, I will die. So I decided, because he was coming to go somewhere with one of his cousins, I decided to plan ahead. I took my clothes somewhere and I waited for him. When he came, these things, they come with sweets, oranges. When he's giving the kids, I just left without a word. I only took a bag that you hold like this and just left.
Where are you going?
I am going back to Nanyuki to try and start life again. So before they knew I was gone, I was very far away. And he takes my children to the mother-in-law after the event because he was coming for some event. He takes my children to his mother and they start living there. He's now already married. They are living with this girl. So he would go once in a while to the village to check on the kids. But now his mother is the one who was taking care of them all the time. And maybe one of the sisters who was not married.
Okay.
So when I went to Nanyuki, one friend of mine had took a small mattress from my home when they were auctioning, and some cups and some sufuria, 1 or 2 pots. She gives me those items. I start life from there. But now I am very sick, especially my respiratory system was very bad. I could not breathe.
Yeah.
So there were other people, friends that we used to know. They bought me some medicine, this China medicines. They bought me those. I took, and my back was okay. Started breathing a bit well, and starts now working as a maid from one place to another, because I tried to work in those farms in Nanyuki, the flower farms, but I could not manage because of the cold and madawa, those chemicals.
Yeah.
My respiratory system did not agree with them, so I could not continue working there. So I started working as a maid from one place to another. Many homes I was so mistreated. Some of the places I was denied food.
Wow.
Some of the places my staff would be kept outside the house in the dust because I was not worth anything to them. I could eat leftovers. Some of the times I could take a little portion just to keep me alive. So life was tough. It took me long. I don't even think I ever established myself in anything.
For how long did you work as a house help?
For many years.
All this time the kids were with their grand?
Now, after some time, the kids went to live with the father. He took them with him to live with the stepmother. Now, the stepmother also mistreats my children very badly.
Goodness.
She denied them food. She denied them literally everything. And you know this is their home. She's the one who found them, you see. The only thing she could do was treat them well, give them everything their father was providing. But now everything was denied to them. She could only give to her daughter. My children went through a lot of trauma in that home. They still remember even today. We are dealing with a lot. Even though they are big now, they are adults, we are still dealing with their past. But I thank God. By His grace, we are okay and in a good place.
Okay.
So I work as a maid for many years, but after 5 years, the woman, now the business is down. She squandered all the money the husband was providing because she's this highly lifestyle person. So the business collapsed, and they had borrowed money as we had borrowed from when we were together. So they were auctioned, and life became very hard. So she says she will not continue to take care of my children while I'm still alive. So the man calls me, tells me to go back, and I agreed because I still was going through a lot. I did not have any money because you see, this is a girl who entered into marriage without any life skills, a dropout of school, nothing. I did not have anything to do.
Sure.
Yeah, so I was not able to establish myself in any way. So when he came with the idea, I go back, we continue supporting our kids because he loves his kids, even today. I went back. My mother-in-law gave me some items like beds, a sideboard, and those things used in a kitchen. But now I could not go to home where I was married because now this wife lives there. Life got bad until they moved now to home. So I could not go live together with her. So I rented a house around the area in the town center, and I start now with life. But it became very hard. I could not cope because of my issues with. Now, you know, in the village, you only go for vibaruas. This is a kulima. You go from one farm to another. They give you a portion to farm, and you are paid. I could not cope up with that because of my chest, because of my breathing. It was bad.
So at this point, the father was not supporting his kids?
he could support, but now you see he's broke.
Oh, he can't afford.
He can't afford. And then he moved to Nairobi, and I think he came with the wife, and now the wife has now another baby. She has 2 babies. So he could not support the babies here, the wife here, and now the one in the village. So I took care of everything myself. He could send something little, maybe once in a while, because he could not afford. So life became hard for me. I could not cope with that life. So I decided, let me go back to Nairobi, where I can wash clothes for people, and that is kind of available, like every day, or maybe if you don't get today, you get tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I decided, let me go back to Nairobi and start that. And that is what I did. The 2 small items I was given, I sold, and I only needed bus fare to get to Nairobi. The rest did not matter to me. So all the other things that I left there with, I think, my sister-in-law or something like that.
Okay.
So I come back to Nairobi now with my children. I landed at my mother's house. My mother had now moved to Nairobi to the husband is a contractor, this fundi wa mijengo. So they decided to move to Nairobi to now look for life. So I landed at my mother's place, but you remember my mother is not someone you can do anything in her house. She's always insulting me, cursing me. By the way, my mother used to curse me.
Wow.
She could tell me, you will die like a dog. Where they will call me for your corpse, I'll come and collect and bury.
Wow.
She could tell me all manner of curses. Like, I even regret ever giving birth to you. I should not have given birth to you. So she hated me that much. Every time I failed in anything, I could remember the words of my mother.
Wow.
How she used to tell me, you are a good for nothing. You can never succeed. You see, and now she's telling me in my vernacular, so it is sinking somewhere down in my heart. And I could always blame her if I failed in anything, even in my marriage. If I do business, it collapses, I remember the words of my mother, you will never succeed, you are a good for nothing. And I hated myself. My self-esteem, went so low. I could not be confident to tell anyone anything. Even the way I'm talking right now is by the grace of God, because the Lord has given me healing. So I came back to Nairobi, started living. I could collect firewoods from the roadside. Those are the ones I used to cook for my children. Where they farmed, where I lived, there was around people could farm vegetables. Where they are throwing the weeds that they are taking out of their farm, is what I could collect and go cook for my children.
My goodness.
So life was very tough. The house I used to live could leak water when it rained. It had potholes in the house. So we lived a very tough life. And at some point, I could not manage. Their father got a job as an admin of a children's home, a certain children's home. Yeah. So he comes for the children. He tells the owner that he had another wife whom has other children. So the owner tells my ex to go for the children and leave the mother. That is what he did. He came for my children, and I could not refuse because life was tough, very tough. So he takes them to the children's home. They now started living together with now the children in the children's home, and his other kids with the wife. They lived that kind of life again. And I was left, tried to do some courses which did not succeed because I was also very stressed. I could not concentrate on anything. I tried to do beauty. I could not concentrate. I tried to do catering. These courses that you do without any you don't even know how it will end up. So I tried to do those but did not succeed.
Okay.
I remember when I completed that course, the small course for catering. The day they were giving the certificates, I was thrown out of where I was hosted.
Hey.
Yeah, a friend of mine had hosted me to do that course, but that day when we were to go for the certificate, she threw me out. So I could not go for the certificate until today, and the school is normal now. So I only got the small canore, the skills for the catering, but no certificate. So life continued to be very, very difficult. In 2017, my mother passes on. And then the children came back to me after 2 years. The job for their father was over. So they came back to me. We still continued to struggle. We could sleep hungry. Sometimes we could only eat 1 meal a day. But God has been gracious. Their schooling has never stopped. No matter the situation, no matter the struggles, we could apply for bursaries, we could apply for sponsorships, scholarships.
Yeah.
My children have gone to school through scholarships and bursaries until where they are.
Now, at what time did you know your mother has left? And what time now did you decide you have to live your life, whether your husband, your ex-husband will support you or not?
So after my mother passed on in 2017, cause was alcohol. She died in the house. They had to remove one iron sheet. They entered the house through the roof because she died in the house.
Okay.
She drank herself to death. After that, she had become so rich. There were people who introduced her into selling drugs. So she acquired properties. She had a lot of money and drank so much. I think my thinking is like she overdosed. Those are drugs that she was selling, but I am not sure. There are so many stories around her death. At some point, even my family accused my brother that he's the one who killed her. But it was never clear. Nothing was clear about her death because she died on the bed, alone in the house.
Okay.
So after she died, my stepfather, the Mokorino husband, decided to deny us everything that my mother owned. So when she died, I used to live in Kasarani, but she had a home at Kamulu. So I decided, let me go to where my mother used to live. I start farming like chicken hivi so that I can support my children because life was very hard, tough.
Were they legally married? Did they have marriage certificate or something?
No, there was no marriage certificate or anything, but the people in the home recognized the man.
Oh, okay.
Because he had paid dowry, part of it.
The traditional endings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he decides we do not deserve anything of my mother. He throws me out of that home and tells my people, my grandmother and my family, that I want him to marry me.
Wow.
He accused me that I want to replace my mother. He said so many stuff, lied so many things about me. Until now, some of my uncles felt I should not live there. One of them actually threatened to kill me if he finds me there because he reasoned, why did I go when my mother is dead and I did not used to live there? So they were telling, all my family members told me, there is nothing that belongs to you there.
Wow.
Actually, because you never lived with your mother, you never agreed, you were never in good terms. So what are you chasing after? Everything you find there, you see there, belongs to that man and your mother. So whatever you're doing there, you need to stop, leave that place, go back to where you had come from. So I was chased out of there. accused of so many things, and I left. So frustrated again, and so many threats. So I decided, let me leave everything, and I left, continued with my maid jobs, until some point where I could not cope again because of my chest. So I leave everything about maids and everything. I started doing these small businesses of hawking. Sometimes I could hawk rubber shoes. Sometimes I could hawk tea leaves. Sometimes I could hawk these curtains. And life was tough. It has been tough. My children could go to, they're now high schoolers. They go, they leave me in the house. I don't have anything to do, and I'm so depressed. Sometimes I don't have food. And they continued with high school, they finished, and their father has been supportive. He has been supporting them, paying school fees. Even now they're in the universities, all of them. And he's still the one who takes care of the school fees and all that.
Okay.
But myself, I have never been stable. Life has never been on my side. It has been always tough and too much struggles. At some point I faced eviction. I could not be able to pay rent. But now I used to fellowship in Sitam. I talked with one of the pastors there, called Pastor Njoroge. I told him now I cannot continue working as a maid because of my health, and I am so much broke. My rent is many months arrears. I am almost being thrown out. So he, by the grace of God, he's a kind man. He gave me some 10,000.
Wow.
To go and see what I can do. Pay part of the money, rent, and then start something. But then I figured, because I am a songwriter, I had wrote so many songs, they were in my books, and I am a singer, and there is this company helping singers that are not able to support themselves. You just pay a little something.
Yeah.
And they support your music. So I registered with that music, with that money, in that company, and they recorded my first music.
Wow. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it is on YouTube. On YouTube, I am EKRAH Maria.
Okay.
Yeah. So they recorded my music. It did not do any better. I did not succeed. They used to promote us, like you sell your music online through M-Pesa. There was a competition. When you win, you taken to China to shoot your music there. But I did not succeed.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of struggles. You remember I did not pay the rent. I went for music. So the rent was bad. Yeah. The landlord was not kind anymore to me. And I remember even the day I was going to record, I did not have bus fare from Kasarani to Nairobi. I was looking for bus fare that morning. So by the time I'm arriving in the studio, I am late. There is a queue behind me. So I did it very fast and so nervous. And my voice did not come out well. So the music did not do that well. But now I have recorded the second album. Although I only have one song on the YouTube, I'm still in the process of shooting the rest of my music.
Okay.
So during that time, the directors of that company made me know their church. Because one of them used to have to host or hold prayer rallies. And you remember I told you I'm a prayerful woman.
Yeah.
So I decided, although I'm not the member there, let me be going for the prayers, pray for my music, pray for my life, see maybe whether something good can happen for me. So I went for prayer rallies, I think twice. And the pastor in that church preached and touched my life. And as one of the seasons, they invited a prophet or a pastor from Uganda. That prophet, I had a one-on-one with him because I was trying to figure out what is wrong with my life. Why can't I succeed in anything? So I decided, because he was a prophet, I decided to have a one-on-one encounter with him, and he tells me, the Lord wants you to serve him in this church under this pastor. She's called Reverend John, a woman I respect so much. And when I joined that church, the Lord turned my life around. Things started working.
Okay.
After eviction, I was evicted where I was living. After eviction, I think I was hosted by a friend for like 2 or 3 days. And miraculously, God used a friend online, a woman, a mother figure online I used to speak to, I used to communicate with. Actually, that lady found me commenting on one of her pastor's posts on Instagram. This pastor is called Pastor Ben Carson, a son to John Carson. I don't know whether you know him. So this young pastor was suicidal. He had depression for 10 years. So you see now I could relate with his story. So I used to comment to his posts, like every post he could post, I commented. And this woman who belonged to that church identifies. And she was like, who is this person commenting on my pastor's every post? And she reaches out to me. She starts now communicating with me. I told her my story. At that time is the time I had been evicted. So she felt for me, and she decided to help me out. She sent me 9,000 that time, and I could now, she's very kind to me. Even today we still communicate, and she helps me out. And I have come now to be very close to her. We can communicate, talk about everything in my life.
Now, Ezra, there are lessons people learn from their stories. And I would like us to use this platform because there are so many girls out there who got pregnant after the COVID-19 pandemic. We have so many cases of early pregnancies. What do you think is the problem? Where do you think parents are going wrong? And what do you think needs to be done?
For mothers, especially, I would ask mothers to be available for their children, to relate with what their children are doing. Because we've become so busy investing for our children instead of investing in them. You see, when Jacob was blessed by the father, he did not give him any material thing. He just released words of blessings. So I would suggest to our mothers, especially the young mothers that are in this generation, be close to your daughter, be close to your son also. Know what they are doing with their lives, what they love, they are passionate about what. And let your children know they have a safe place in you, that they can come to you with any kind of issue. Because some of our children are keeping a lot in themselves because the parents are no longer available, the parents are not accessible. They are trying to talk to you and you dismiss them. Maybe they wanted to open up to you about something, but you dismiss them. And maybe this is a bully in the school. This is maybe a teacher mistreating them. Or an adult somewhere, maybe a relative. And you find our daughters are sinking from one day to another. They are pregnant. They are pregnant from their brothers, pregnant from their cousins.
What do you have? What is your future plan?
Okay. My future plan, because the Lord has now given me healing, I am no longer bitter. about being chased out of home. I am no longer bitter about my stepfather accusing me wrongly. I am no longer bitter with my dead mother or anything else like that. The Lord has healed me, all my wounds, and I am now at a better place where I can now help someone else who is going through maybe some of the things I was going through and had no one to help me. Nobody was there for me. So I have a vision of starting a foundation. Actually, I even have started, but I haven't done much. It's just starting. I have a name for the foundation. It's called Hazina Binguni Foundation. It will be a rescue center or a rescue. The mission is to rescue the sexually abused victims that are going through the same things I went through. I also would want to help girls and teenagers, educate them about sexuality, keep them informed, because when they are informed, they will have a defense mechanism, and no one can be able to bully them or even mistreat them or defile them in any way when they are informed. Because lack of information, lack of guidance, sometimes causes them to find themselves in those situations. Okay.
As we wind up, maybe you can share your contacts with anybody who may be going through the same story as yours. You can share your contacts.
I am also a songwriter, a gospel musician. I have a YouTube channel as EKRAH Maria. There is only one song for now, but I will continue uploading more. And then every platform on social media, I am EKRAH Maria. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube, EKRAH Maria. And then my phone number is 0725 128 528. Yeah, that is my official number.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, EKRAH, for sharing with us your story.
Yeah.
I'm sure this will open the mind of so many youths who are going through what you are going now. And it will encourage them that there is hope. After all this, there is still hope.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too for the opportunity.
Okay.
I am so honored to be here.
Thank you
so much.
Okay. In case you have gone through rejection or sexual abuse and you have overcome and you'd like to share with us your story, you can write to us via the email or the phone number attached there. You can also talk to EKRAH.
Yes.
You can talk to EKRAH and share with her. She'll be ready to support. Thank you so much for those who have subscribed. And for the new members, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much and bye-bye.